Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
And we give the people what they want.
We have the head coach of the Chargers, Anthony Lynn, saying that he wants to have a workout with Colin Kaepernick. We have Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, saying that he's open to signing Colin Kaepernick. Even the president said that Colin Kaepernick would be welcomed back to the NFL. Jalen Anthony Rose, will we see Colin Kaepernick get invited to a training camp this summer?
Let me just say this. Colin Kaepernick's stance hasn't changed, but the circumstance of the people taking in the information have. Roger Goodell supporting Colin Kaepernick? Did you say the president supporting Colin Kaepernick? Did you say a head coach who happens to be black is welcoming workouts with Colin Kaepernick? So what's different? The political and the social and civil unrest that black and brown people have stood out and said, we will not deal with this oppression and this racism and go quietly. That has spawned a change. And based on that, Colin Kaepernick, yes, I believe will be in a training camp, deserves an opportunity, and was a really effective quarterback in the NFL before he got whiteballed.
I think that's an important point because Colin Kaepernick is so associated, and rightfully so, with this movement and with the fight for against social injustice. However, people forget what a good quarterback he was in the NFL. Did it through the ground, did it through the air. He was in the Super Bowl against the Ravens, got the ball on his own 20 with just over 4 minutes left. Just over 4 minutes left. Took his team all the way down to the 5-yard line with everything on the line. Think about those circumstances. And Colin Kaepernick didn't deliver the 6 points, but got really close against a great defense. Jalen, people forget how good he is, and I don't know if he is still that Colin Kaepernick that he was, but I want to find out, and he deserves a chance to prove it. I think that he is going to get not just invited to a training camp, but I think he plays his way onto a team. What do you think, Jalen?
I agree with you. He not only gets invited to a training camp, he will be playing. He will start a game this year. He will get a legitimate opportunity to play football. And while we have our dinosaurs who are pocket quarterbacks in Tom Brady and Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, we also have the young bucks who are very mobile. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton. So absolutely, Colin Kaepernick has an opportunity to be effective in today's NFL.
I understand why you didn't mention Matt Stafford as one of the dinosaur immobile quarterbacks because it just makes you so sad. But you also didn't mention one of the young mobile quarterbacks, a gentleman by the name of Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray said that he would be kneeling this year. And we also have people like Bill O'Brien said that he would kneel with his team, the head coach of the Texans and others. Do you expect sort of like a league-sanctioned, almost like mass kneeling for the anthem this season?
So I'm not mad at people like Bill O'Brien understanding that oppressing and being racist against black people when they're getting their neck kneeled upon by society and police officers. I'm pretty sure that as a civil human being, he sees his responsibility to support that. But that's the same guy that just traded DeAndre Hopkins. I just got to point that out. And he talked about some of his personal issues. But I'm not mad at him at all. His personal circumstances, not necessarily issues. Here's the thing. The reason why 12 or 13 people were kneeling 4 years ago and 50% of the league are going to be kneeling now is safer. It's more mainstream. You may not lose your endorsements. You may not upset fans. Fans will be doing it as well. So now, because of that, people are more forgiving to the plight of black people. It hasn't changed, Jacoby. Eric Garner scenario was no different than George Floyd. It's just that we're during a pandemic, people are sitting still, and now all of a sudden you have to explain to your kids and your nieces and nephews why black people have been oppressed in this country. So again, I welcome all of these people who are not black that want to support the movement, but let's not act like they weren't quiet years ago.
And you brought up an interesting point when you said the fans will be kneeling because there's so much focus on what happens on the field, but listen, whether or not there will be fans in the stands is a whole nother issue that we'll get into later. But imagine if there are fans in the stands. I also imagine it will be a moment of decision for them as well of whether or not they stand and kneel, which is also something we should look forward to monitoring as the season progresses. And also one thing we will always monitor as the season progresses is, why hasn't Cam Newton signed to a team yet? Cam Newton is a free agent in the NFL. And his former team, the Carolina Panthers, that did him kind of dirty when they released him, put up this on social media. Jalen Rose, choose your GOAT of the Carolina Panthers, and the options are Julius Peppers, Steve Smith Sr., and Luke Kuechly. Obviously, a huge uproar because Jake Delhomme was not mentioned. I mean, Cam Newton was not mentioned.
All terrific players, by the way, and the best at their positions for the organization. Julius Peppers, rushing the quarterback. Luke Kuechly, running side to side, getting running backs and or quarterbacks down and covering in the pass, as well as Steve Smith, the fire and catching footballs, going deep or across the middle. I understand that. But your poll has to have 4 players on it. You omitted Cam Newton. It was on purpose. And now that we're paying attention, here's what I want people to watch. The Carolina Panthers paid their coach $70 million to coach the football team this year. Okay, so I want to be seeing what kind of progress and what kind of difference he makes, since they felt like not bringing back Rivera and Cam Newton was best for the team.
I mean, it's mind-boggling. Just look at this. Look at what Cam Newton has done for this franchise. He has thrown for more yards than everybody else that's worn the uniform.
Have you
passed
done
for more
for
touchdowns than everybody else that's worn the uniform, and rushed for more touchdowns than anyone else that has worn the logo on that helmet. I'm shocked that they would ask who the GOAT was in the franchise history and not include the person that has scored more touchdowns than everybody else in franchise history. Jalen, it is time for some very important news that matters. Now, Jalen, I need you to take this seriously, okay? And with everything that's going on in the world, sometimes you have to remember that we are just one planet in this universe. And scientists, actual scientists, real scientists that get paid to study these types of things, say that in the Milky Way, in our universe, there are at least 36 intelligent alien civilizations that can communicate. Now, Jalen, I've shown you video of these aliens flying in our atmosphere. I've shown you the video. And now we have scientists saying that there are at least 36 different civilizations in our neighborhood, I'll call it. Are you finally going to admit that there are aliens in our universe?
I'm not going to be able to do it. Why don't you buy some real estate and see what happens with that property? When you start talking about Milky Ways, initially I thought about the candy bar, and I love those. Caramel, chocolate, they're so very awesome. You know, they made me feel like really baseball when I was young. And then when you said more things that described it, I was like, oh, Chocolate City, Washington, D.C. But either way, I didn't think of another planet in the orbit. Jacoby, I know you want to believe that it's out there, but it is not out there. It's not out there.
It is out there. And I am completely baffled by why you ask me, why don't I buy some real estate? And you tell me how that works for me. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Stay tuned. It's Jalen and Jacoby. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, you always complain to me about what topics we decide to discuss on this program. So we created a segment where you get to decide. It is called Keep It Moving. So if you would like to discuss the topic, just say hit the brakes. If not, we will keep it moving. And we start with one of my favorite people. Anthony Fauci has some bad news for the NFL. Anthony Fauci said that for the NFL to have a successful season, they would need to emulate the bubble structure that the NBA has. Do you think the NFL will adopt a bubble?
I do not think the NFL will adopt the bubble. 1,300 players, numerous coaching staffs, representatives, and people that work for the club. There will be an interruption with the NFL season. However, they understand the importance and the integrity of the schedule and the divisions and trying to complete the schedule. There will still complete the schedule, and there will be a Super Bowl champion. but there will be uncomfortable moments when your favorite
Yes.
player is missing a game because he tested positive.
Yes, there will be some asymptomatic superstars. And one thing I want to let you know about the superstar Anthony Fauci is he gets buckets. He was the point guard and the captain for the Regis basketball team. And I think he can still beat you one-on-one today.
That's all you care
Anthony
about.
Fauci gets buckets. Anthony Fauci gets buckets. He put 81 up on you, just so you know. Moving on. Well, the NFL season's in trouble, and so is the MLB season, but we do have an update. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Major League Baseball, this is your chance to seize the moment. If you fall out because of labor, it's going to set you back so very far. Keep it moving.
We keep it moving.
Keep moving.
We keep it moving.
There is still a little bit of uncertainty about whether or not certain players for the Lakers will end up in Orlando. Keep it moving or hit the brakes. Well, Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley are part of the coalition that sort of has been vocal about their hesitations about going to Orlando. And Lakers say they expect Dwight Howard to attend, but they're unclear about Avery Bradley. Do you think all of the purple and gold players will end up in Disney World?
Don't be surprised if some of the Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, Celtics, individuals that just decide that we're on a contending team, but we don't feel comfortable going to Orlando. It may be because of the social unrest. It may be because of coronavirus. But either way, don't take it personal. Fans, media, NBA, if they choose to forfeit their salary for their comfort, I understand.
Jalen, we almost had ourselves a Tyson versus Tyson boxing match. Keep moving ahead of the brakes. Tyson Fury came out and admitted that there were some early advanced discussions about a potential fight between himself and Iron Mike Tyson. Jalen, I know that you and Mike Tyson have a relationship. Would you be a little concerned if Iron Mike Tyson were go into the ring against the heavyweight champ?
I would be concerned because he's tall, he long, and he got range. And those were the guys that gave Tyson a lot of trouble.
That's a good point.
And also, he's just up there in age. He's plus 50. But I'll tell you what, we'll be paying for the fight in person.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would be there.
No
I
would watch that. I would pre-order that. Jalen,
ask Mike for a ticket.
Jalen, I have a very important update for you.
I will be there to wipe off his forehead.
Jalen, I have a very important update for you. Just say hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
Multiple airlines have stopped serving alcohol and food on planes. Does this mean that you will not fly on planes anymore?
I will never travel again. I will never travel again. I took a flight the other day, Jacoby. I had on a mask. I was thirsty. I'm like, wait, what am I going to do? I was like, what am I going to do? I'm like, I'm not drinking nothing. The stewardess don't wear masks. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm not taking mine off. So, yeah, I might never travel again.
Well, it's too bad. When we come back, Mark Cuban has something to say about player protests. We'll tell you what that is. Right for this. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, you know our colleague Jeremy Schaap is a real journalist. You know, he prepares, he's intelligent, and he puts people on the spot. And he did so earlier today with Mark Cuban about Mark Cuban's support or lack thereof of player protest. Mark Cuban said that if a player were to raise a fist or take a knee during the anthem, that he would support that. He supports all NBA players doing what is in their hearts. What do you think about Mark Cuban's support of player protests?
I like Mark Cuban, fam, but let me just take off my glasses and tell you something as I wipe the sleep out of my eyes because I'm just tired of having this conversation. Sometimes I feel like he and our relationship just professionally are so close, but yet so far away. I would love to get him on the program because it's like he hires Rick Carlisle. I'm like, yeah, great. And then he says he crossed the street if he saw a black guy with a hoodie. And I'm like, just whoa, like, what is he talking about? And then right now it's like I support people raising a fist or taking a knee if they were being respectful. That don't go with a protest. Like, I understand that you're the owner or the overseer of the Dallas Mavericks and you have a really powerful voice in the NBA, but letting us know how you feel about those that are being oppressed and saying, I support them if they're being respectful is not a compliment, David. Talk about it tomorrow.
Dan Levitar and Highly Questionable are next. Thank you, Nestor Cora, for everything you've done for the show.